Today, we're going to demystify literary analysis. And don't worry, this isn't about writing stuffy academic essays. This is all about giving you, the reader, a powerful tool to go deeper and really understand what makes a great story, well, unforgettable.
You know that feeling, right? You close a book, your mind is just reeling. You feel like something's changed. But then a friend asks what it was about, and all you can say is, "Oh, it was just so good." You know there's more to it, but man, finding the right words can be tough.
Well, that's exactly what we're going to fix today. We're going to build a simple but really powerful toolkit that'll help you see the hidden machinery inside any story so you can explain exactly what makes it tick. Seriously, I think this is going to change the way you read. To do that, we first have to get past just thinking about the plot. I mean, it's not only about what happens, right? It's about how it happens, and more importantly, why. So, here's our 5-step roadmap for today. We're going to start with the big picture, seeing the whole forest, before we zoom in to inspect the individual trees. Then, we'll hunt for the big ideas, connect all the dots, and finally, ask my favorite question. So what?
Okay, first things first. Before you can dig into all the tiny details, you really need to have a solid foundation. You've got to get a feel for the novel as a whole.
We call this big picture analysis. Basically, it's like getting a bird's eye view of the entire world the authors created. Because without that context, you could end up getting lost in details that don't really connect to the main point of the story.
So how do you actually do this? It's pretty simple, really. As you're reading, just jot down your gut reactions, any questions that pop into your head. Try to lock in the basics. Who are the main players here? What's the central problem or conflict? And, super important, where and when is all this taking place?
All right, so once you've got that big picture, that map of the forest, it's time to zoom in. This is where we start looking at the specific choices the author is making.
We call this the author's craft. The best way to think about it is like a toolbox. Every single author has their own set of tools, things like character development, plot structure, word choice, that they use to build their story from the ground up.
And these are some of the most important tools you want to look for. Let's take The Great Gatsby, for example. For characters, you could ask, how does Nick's view of Gatsby change from beginning to end? For the setting, think about how those crazy, over-the-top parties of the Roaring '20s create a mood of both excitement and, well, decay. And for symbols, you've got that famous green light to keep showing up. These aren't just random details. They are very deliberate choices by the author.
Okay, so we've looked at the what, the big picture, and the how, the author's craft. Now we get to the really exciting part, asking why. This is where we start to uncover the novel's deepest messages.
And those messages are what we call themes. Themes are what lift a story from just being a bunch of events to being a meaningful commentary on life itself. They're the big, universal ideas, stuff like ambition, love, loss, or the illusion of the past.
So how do you actually find them? Well, a great way is to look for patterns. What ideas or images or actions just keep popping up again and again? Ask yourself, what's the big question this author seems to be wrestling with? In Gatsby, for instance, that constant focus on wealth, social status, and the past points us straight toward themes about the dark side of the American dream.
And now for what I think is the most critical step. This is the real heart of analysis, where we put it all together. See, it's not enough to just list the author's tools on one side and the story's themes on the other. We have to show how they're connected.
Let's go back to that green light we mentioned earlier. The novel ends with this incredibly powerful image, summed up in this famous line. But what does it actually mean?
And this right here shows the connection perfectly. On a literal level, it's just a light on a dock. Simple. But the author, Fitzgerald, uses this specific symbol that's an element of his craft to represent this huge, powerful theme, that impossible dream, that perfect future we're always reaching for but can never ever quite grasp. You see that? The craft serves the theme. That is analysis.
All right, and that brings us to our final step. After all this work, you have to stand back and ask yourself the most important question of all, so what?
This is all about relevance. Why are we still reading and talking about a book that was written almost 100 years ago? What does its message about dreams and disappointment have to say to us, in our own lives, right here, right now?
And you got to bring it back to you. Did the book make you think differently? Did it challenge something you've always believed? Or maybe open your eyes to a new way of looking at the world or people? The best books, they always do.
So the real goal here is to shift your thinking from what a novel is to what a novel does. Does it warn us? Does it inspire us? Does it comfort us? This is where analysis becomes truly meaningful. And honestly, this skill isn't just for books. Learning to see what a story does is like a critical thinking superpower you can use every single day.
And here it is, all laid out for you. Think of this chart as your complete toolkit. It takes you right from the simple who, what, and where of the big picture, through the how and the what, all the way to that deep, profound question, why does this novel even matter? Go ahead and use it with the very next book you pick up.
So now it's your turn. Armed with this 5-step framework, you are more than ready to unlock the deeper layers of any story you read. The only question left is, what novel are you going to analyze first?